We all know that the Low Country has some of the best food in the South, but what about fine dining experiences? What's the difference between fine dining and just dining? How do you dress? Well, we have the Charleston School of Protocol, Cindy Grosso, here to simplify fine dining etiquette for us. Cindy, welcome.
Thank you.
We were just talking a little bit about this before we started. We both love dining out. We love fine dining.
Foodies.
But foodies, yes we are. But some people don't actually know the difference between fine dining and regular dining.
Right.
Can you talk about that?
Sure. Fine dining, typically, there's a lot of kind of trademarks, if you will, of it. Maybe white tablecloths, cloth napkins, but the napkins wouldn't be, the silverware wouldn't be rolled up in it. Mm-hmm. Your place would be set probably with just silverware.
Yeah.
It may have a charger. Mm-hmm. A charger is basically just a placeholder. It's not a plate that we actually eat food off of. It's always been a placeholder, so it may have that. And there's lots of different, it could be glass or brass or silver. The glasses would be set, and they'd be a little bit more than, maybe a little bit more of crystal than glass, maybe. And so maybe fresh flowers, the music would not be so loud, the ambiance would be more geared for intimate settings, not such a very loud, boisterous place where you hear everybody's conversation type thing. So yeah, and just the feel, maybe the chairs even a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more nice. So yeah, a little different experience, and the menu as well.
If you get invited to a fine dining reservation or experience, what should you wear?
Yes. Well, you know, it's interesting because in Charleston, we have a lot of people on vacation. We're a resort city. It's a very interesting mix that we have in Charleston because it can be very formal, but it also can be very, again, we have resort properties, you know, close by. And so Charleston, I think, is welcoming to all. But I always try to say, if you're really doing fine dining, it should at least be a jacket for men. It used to be that fine dining would require ties. Sometimes they are, but not so much anymore. But basically a jacket, which we would say professional casual, which is all the elements of a suit, but not a suit. So it might be, you know, khaki pants, white shirt, navy blue jacket, striped tie, something like if you wear a tie, or no tie. But you know, so more professional casual for that type of thing, or a tie is fine, but they're not really requiring that so much anymore. And same thing for women. I wouldn't be going into a fine dining restaurant wearing resort casual when I'm saying shorts and things, but it might not be a gown either. So it would just be sort of a nice business dress or a nice outfit that you might have a pantsuit, something like that. That's a little bit more formal than, you know, what you would wear to the beach.
Yeah, definitely.
So because we do have that here. We have fine dining at the beach here.
Yep.
So some of our places,
we've got it all.
We've got it all. Charleston has it all.
Yeah, it's the best. And what about once we get to the restaurant? What etiquette should be in the back of our mind once we're there?
Sure. Basically, etiquette actually says that when the hostess meets you at the front, then leads you to your table, then your date, if you're a man and your significant other, doesn't really matter, but your significant other would lead behind the host, and then the person who's inviting would be behind them. So position of honor is to the right always of the host. So if you're on a date or you have a significant other, you would seat them, and then you would be seated to their left as the host.
I have an idea of what you're going to say about this, but phones at the table, what are we supposed to be doing with our phones?
Right. Cell phone at the table is really not a good it doesn't send a good message. And when I teach business etiquette, I always try to tell people to make sure that your phone is away. The phone can take a message, it can take a text, and it's really not good. It can really spoil a romantic dinner, is to have your phone out, unless it's an emergency, or you know you might be getting a call from something that, you know, a child that might be home, or a parent that's in the hospital or something. But really, phones are not on the dining table and can really spoil that romantic environment, if you will. And some restaurants actually are no-cell zones. I mean, they really don't want to have, I've been in nice restaurants that just say no-cell zone. And so you put your phone on silent and you enjoy the company. And the dining table is the single most important place we bond with people. So it's really important to put our phones away and enjoy the person, be present in the moment.
Anything else we should remember while we're at that table?
I would just say, yes, You know, if you're dining with someone, etiquette says that the person you're dining with should never be dining alone. So if you're finished, you know, you have to kind of pace your meal. You might be a fast eater and that person, or you might be a slow eater, but you kind of pace with that other person to try to make them not dine by themselves. And that might even be the number of courses. You might be, let's say you're with a significant other or just on a date, and that person orders maybe a salad, a main course, and a dessert. Then you would order 3 courses as well. Again, not to be dining alone. Now maybe you don't eat dessert, so maybe you just order coffee. But that's kind of, and you always would,
that.
Yeah. And you would, if it's somebody that, if it's a date that you don't know that well, you would always make suggestions. You know, the filet mignon is very good here, and help that person to order as well. So that might be a situation that you find yourself into helping them.
What if one person wants to have an alcoholic drink and the other person doesn't want to? How does that work?
Totally fine.
Totally fine.
You don't have to, you can do, there's so much going on with non-alcohol right now. The drinks are crazy and they're non-alcoholic. And so you totally don't have to drink if you don't drink, that's not, but you can still have a fun drink at the table. Typically, we often say cocktails are a little different than what's served at the dinner table. Cocktails might be in the lounge beforehand, but oftentimes at a fine restaurant, it's pretty much wine with your meal. And if you don't drink wine, that's okay too. But we don't really try not to bring so much the cocktail to the table, especially in a very fine dining environment, especially if you're with a large group. You don't bring your cocktail to the table. It is water and wine. You're not the one ordering the Coke or the beer at a very formal fine dining event with lots of people. It's water and wine.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's an amazing tip too. Cindy, thank you so much for this. Now you just got me wanting to go out to a fine dining establishment. So we got to do that. Cindy, thank you.
Thank you.